Hi, my name is Clarence Mon. I'm making this video for my final project for my criminal investigation techniques class. Teacher was Professor Richard Borth. Uh, we got into the different techniques that go into actually completing a criminal investigation properly. That way you can document evidence. We went over the various types of investigation or technologies. In my report, I actually put in there, looked up quite a few of them. We have a laser Albitron inductivity coupling plasma mass spectrometer. It's a lot to say, but it's good for finding important clues as far as impacts from firearms. It can be the impact spots or impact wounds. You also have alternative light photography. It helps to see damaged skin before it's visible to the naked eye. So it's kind of like a black light they can shine on a person's body, where they said that they were hurt, or that a forensic scientist can use to actually see bruises and marks on the body prior to the actual bruising forming, to where you can see with your naked eye. High speed ballistics photography, they use this and will fire. In a case you have, say, somebody used a 9mm, they might try different 9mm rounds using a high-speed camera to see how debris flies, and like if it went through a wall, a window, a person, see how the blood splatter could happen, how glass could break and fall on the ground, and see which one matches the area they would. That the way you can explain more on what was used in the crime. Video spectral, was it Compactor 2000. It's a machine. Investigators can look at a piece of paper and see hidden lines, or like if you had a notepad where somebody wrote on it and pulled the piece of paper off, it can pick up the indentation from the previous on the next piece of paper below it. That way you can see it was written. Also pull up hidden stuff that's written on paper. That way you can actually tell it was written down if it was erased. You also have our digital surveillance that's on the Xbox, also known as a XFT device. That actually is, if you buy an Xbox, I was never big on Xbox myself, but if you buy it, they have a program that you can use that actually uses the camera, shoots out an array of green lasers that actually pick up your body signature, and actually can put you physically and use your movements to actually play the game. This can be useful in multiple situations as far as law enforcement and figuring out what happened at the same time, because they can use the XFT device to go back into the hard drive. Possibly the Xbox is set up in a crime scene area, can go back and pull up the information off the hard drive itself, so they can affectionately see what happened in the room because of it. We also have 3D forensic facial reconstruction. It's a program kind of outdating the old sketch artist that would do like a face, a drawing of from somebody's memory. They do it now to where they can use this program to actually make up a sketch, in essence, in 3D to see what a person could look like. Also, if you have a body or you find a body and it's decomposed to the point of where it's just a skull, you can use some of this this device to actually re-put the layers on the body due to certain equations in it, and it can actually form to where you can see the actual what the person could have more than likely possibly looked like. DNA sequencer uses DNA samples for the evidence when DNA is degraded. It's a higher speed version of the regular DNA sequencer. It's used to analyze old bones, teeth to determine a DNA match. So you could possibly use the information that you get from these bones you found and compare it to past DNA that was found and actually possibly solve a cold case. Forensic carbon-14 dating. That's actually where they take a material and they actually burn it, and in the process of doing so, they're able to track back the carbon footprint from it in order to be able to tell how old something actually is. Magnetic fingerprinting and automated fingerprint identification, or the AFIS, is a nationwide database system that actually collects and stores fingerprints. That way they can be compared by multiple departments. You can actually take this information and possibly compare it to find a possible victim or possible criminal in that database. You also have the link analysis software for forensic accountants. This is a program they can use to actually track criminal accounts and possibly follow the money in order to make arrests and get hold of criminals. We moved on to talking about the importance of preserving and protecting a crime scene. I was able to actually look up and found about Locard's law, or the law of mutual exchange. It makes it now that it's just not possible to come in contact with an environment without possibly changing it or contaminating it. You all can know, yeah, that's why it's so important to keep the area cut off until actually forensics investigators arrive. That way the scene is untouched, so it's not contaminated. That's the job of the first responder, to make sure that that does not happen. In the process of doing this, you keep the scene decontaminated, and they come in, they'll collect different types of evidence. You have blood, hair, glass, and different fibers from like clothes and such, or whatever is considered class or circumstantial evidence. Fingerprints, teeth impressions, DNA, that's all individual evidence. Trace evidence, that's another evidence you can find, is a lot of times overlooked because of the fact that most of the time it's actually microscopic, or you can't see it with the naked eye. You actually need to see it with a microscope. The priorities on a scene when the first responder gets there is going to be, first and foremost, safety of the area, anybody around the area. If there's somebody in danger, protecting life and limb. After that, if that is not those two are taken care of, then you're going to want to get into the stabilization of the incident, preservation of the property, and preservation of the evidence there. Different types of things, like evidence you can get that I said was individual, or circumstantial evidence, hair. By testing the hair, you can actually determine if it's human or animal, what race the person possibly was, location of the growth, like where they lived at, because there's different parts that'll actually stay in the hair. How the hair was removed. Was it pulled out, yanked out? Did it fall out? You can also test it to see if the person that had the hair had a disease, or if the hair was damaged, possibly how it came out, if it has blood with it, and so on. You can also tell if the hair that you found is actually the original natural hair color. You can tell whether or not if it was dyed or bleached. With DNA, the different DNAs you're going to find are going to be bodily fluids. Which are going to include blood. Your teeth hold DNA. Semen does. Hair, skin tissue, nails, bones, and saliva are all going to be DNA worthy, evidence that you can find. When we get into the investigative techniques of going through a crime scene, you're going to want to look for physical evidence. That's analyzing physical evidence that is left at the crime scene. Blood analysis is a big one. This is where you're going to get your DNA. You're going to be able to tell if it was a violent crime that happened by blood spatter, and freaking, blood stains. Also, you want to, when you get on a scene, before anything is touched in any way, shape, or form, you want to photograph everything. Now, it's better nowadays that we have digital photos to use digital, because it can be uploaded and actually used in different software programs to upgrade pictures and pinpoint certain things. Another good one is bullet trajectory. If there was a firearm used, you can use these trajectory techniques to trace the projected path of a bullet. You can judge off the impact. You can tell where the victim was when they were hit, where the person that actually shot the gun was at the time. Also, you want to make sure of figuring out what kind of caliber was used. When doing a preliminary investigation, there's 6 main steps that you want to follow. First, you want to be able to understand the problem or opportunity. Second, you want to define the project scope and the constraints of it. Third, you want to perform fact-finding. You want to pull the facts out so you aren't just putting out for circumstantial, theories. Analyze the project usability, the benefit and schedule data to be looked at. Evaluate the feasibility of the possible, investigation, and present results and recommendations to your higher-up leadership. Other than that, I have learned a lot in this class. I've enjoyed being in this class, and want to say thank you to the professor for working with me, actually, when I was activated for my National Guard hurricane duty. I went up there to help some people out, and it made it harder for me doing my homework. And you actually worked with me, and I very much appreciate that, sir. Hopefully, I look forward to doing some more classes, and I hope to have you as a professor again. Thank you, sir.